Welcome to our final conference of the momo project. We will provide you with morning and with afternoon very interesting information about the innovative system of car sharing.
A modern and more sustainable European transport system is essential for the future development of the European Union, as highlighted by the Europe 2020 strategy, our Commission's vision for the future of European transport policy.
Michael, the momo project is over now, after 3 years. It's always a kind of building up a family and then going to lose it again. And today was the momo final conference here in Brussels. For approximately 7-8 hours, there was very strong discussion on car sharing. 2 questions. First one, what are the core results you can see what the momo project has done in the last 3 years? And what is the feeling after the final conference?
Oh yeah, 2 difficult questions. First point, what did momo achieve within the 3 years? I think the key point is that we absolutely have got a much higher awareness level for car sharing, that decision makers on local levels, in some cases national levels, and hopefully soon more also on the European level, understand why car sharing is important for sustainable transport strategies, for urban development, that it's a unique thing to reduce the number of cars. We are simply reaching or have already reached a saturation point, and we need to reduce the number of cars in our cities without reducing the mobility of the citizens. I think these 2 points are brought together, it's understood, and we have to further disseminate this message. And so even when momo is over, the theme will go on and we have to work further on that. And my personal feeling, it was an intense time, and I know that we will stay in contact. The project is over, but the family is still there. Even when the kids have moved out, it's still a family.
Johanna, you have been involved in the momo project at least for 2/3 of the period.
Yeah, I think so.
And Finland is going forward with car sharing. Now you have listened to the morning session of this momo final conference. What did you learn from that?
I have to say I liked it a lot. I mean, there were a lot of good presentations, and especially the Asian guy was something new to me, because I have not heard a lot about the Asian experiences. I feel that all the guys who are working, all the girls and guys who are working on the car sharing scheme are very intelligent people. But it's really a real big thing, and there are a lot of details, and there are a lot of differences, and that can be solved. And the Asian guy said it quite well, that it's a very local thing. Maybe that was something that I learned, that because many times you hear a lot of arguments against car sharing. Well, it doesn't work in Finland, it doesn't work there and there and there, and actually, or it doesn't work in small cities, or it doesn't work. But you have to realize that, you know, it's a local thing, and it can work almost everywhere if you just adapt it to your own situations. And then, of course, the cooperation, that I already know, that the cooperation with the public and private thing is very important, but it's really impossible almost everywhere, in every city-like areas, be they small or big. And for instance, the peer-to-peer car sharing would be one kind of a key on a small scale. So, or that might be the first step towards this traditional car sharing. So that was maybe something new to me. It was not very clear to me what peer-to-peer car sharing was. I kind of mixed it with private car sharing, so that I kind of learned. So it's really has been useful, and I really want to continue to be a car sharing expert in Finland.
Mr. Chen, you are quite an expert on car sharing already. So, what did you learn from the morning session here, from the Momo Final Conference?
I think so far I have learned a lot from it. This is my first time attending such an international conference. That see how your fellow peers are doing and help you to validate what you believe in. And are we on the same track? Because sometimes on the car sharing, you're trading into a territory of unknown. But it's always good to hear from each other peers and say, oh yeah, I'm doing the right things. And I believe that in the future, they will try to learn from the experience, what they have done here in Europe, and try not to make the same mistakes. Okay. And they try to shorten our learning cycles a little bit better.
Hi Marian, you are from Croatia and car sharing is quite new for your country, I suppose. So what did you learn from the morning session of the Momo Final Conference?
Yes, we still in Croatia trying 3 years to start up our car sharing company, and meetings like this conference is very important to us, that we can compare some other problems in some other states, and I think that after 3 years investigations of internet on Google, that now I have how to say, I have clear my goal, what I want to achieve. I think that car sharing is not business. Car sharing is our life.
Do you think that such conferences are important for networking?
Yes, it's much better than when you are writing emails or when you are investigate on Wikipedia, Google, on the website of car sharing companies. Okay, you can information, but here you have a real life. You have contacts and it's many emotions. Yeah. You feel the energy of that person, and it's interesting that on this conference I have visited many conferences, and maybe after 2-3 speakers, after that a half room go out. Yeah. Here everybody stay.
Caroline, you are from UITP, and UITP was a partner in the Momo project, and today was the final conference of the Momo project. Is there anything you learned today from also the presentations from around the world?
Yes, indeed. I learned quite a lot. The thing is that UITP recognized the importance of car sharing as a complement to public transport quite some time ago, like back from 2002. And I think one important element I picked up today is that there's quite a synergy that needs to be created, not only between public transport and car sharing, but all the other mobility options as well, as to form a complete mobility solution from door to door for citizens. And I think this was a point that came up a few times today, so I think combined mobility is the way forward, and that's something that was repeated many times.
So car sharing will also be on the agenda of UITP in the future?
Of course, car sharing stays on the agenda of UITP. As you know, we have a dedicated platform, which is a permanent platform that talks about combined mobility, which is public transport in synergy, with car sharing, cycling, taxi, carpooling, all other modes that form sustainable modes as opposition to private car ownership.
Martin, you are from the company Frost & Sullivan, and you did a big survey on the car sharing potential in Europe and the world. And you attended now the Momo Final Conference for a whole day, with all the experiences and knowledge about car sharing. What is your impression of the Momo Final Conference?
It was a great conference. It's been great to speak to industry experts and the professionals around the car sharing. What Frost & Sullivan do is try to develop and see where new business models are occurring, such as car sharing, and what I think now needs to happen in really achieving some of the forecasts that you've seen we predicted from our study is to get some more regional authorities involved, some local governments, and more support from national government, as you've alluded to there. But it was an excellent conference. I really enjoyed it. So.
Do you think that your figures you presented during the conference will be really realistic in the next future?
I think on the vehicle side, yes. I mean, at the moment we're looking at around 16,000 vehicles that are used in car sharing schemes in Europe, and our numbers look to increase that to around 200,000 in 2020. On the members side, now that depends really on each of the schemes where you look at, because as we've seen today, a lot of the schemes have a higher member rate to cars, and some have a lot lower. And our numbers we're looking at up to, I think it was 5.5 million in Europe, in 2016, and 14 million by 2020. So obviously that sounds quite bold compared to around 500,000 this year, but some of the growth from the companies that we've been speaking to is 70% year on year at the moment. So although it's in its infancy, I think there's certainly potential there to achieve those numbers. Yeah.
And with the impact on the environment, it will be a good thing.
Exactly, and that's why the governments need to look at this, because if we're talking about taking an average of 8 or 9 private vehicles off the road for every car sharing vehicle, then of course this has a big impact on the pollution, the congestion, and it's for a relatively small investment can be something that can be a real policy driver.
John, you are from London,
Yes.
and in London there's a lot of competition on car sharing, and you participated in the momo final conference. So is there anything you can take with you, something you have learned to work on the car sharing activities in London? Is there something new?
I think it's just interesting hearing the experiences from all over Europe. I mean, because everyone has different frameworks to work within, it's always interesting to hear how different people get over, the same obstacles, but with different laws and different regulations involved. And yeah, although we can't always apply them directly, I think everybody can learn from each other, and it's been a really valuable experience.
And did you get any contacts to the car sharing operators here?
Yeah, I did, and yeah, with a few people from a few different countries actually, and hopefully some new friendships that will prove valuable.